This video will contain spoilers for Stellar Blade. You've been warned. Alright, so Stellar Blade came out and there was nothing the media could do about it. I mean, quick tangent, this is an M-rated game. It even says suggestive themes. I don't know why people were trying to cancel this game. When it, like, say, a game like GTA 6 is coming out, it's going to be a lot worse. But anyways, Stellar Blade came out, and what a game it was. I've played through it 3 times. I got the Platinum Trophy. Technically, you should only play it through twice to get the Platinum Trophy, but I didn't save once, and I messed the whole thing up. So I had to play through it 3 times. No matter, I got almost 50 hours in the game, and I had my fun with it. So I'm here to do a full review and say this game was actually really, really good. And I think I'm going to do a full review on it because I've seen a lot of quick reviewers and big, content creators follow the game and not give it, I feel like, as much praise because, all fair to them, they have other things to do, but they're speedrunning through the game, just through the main story, and not looking at the meat and potatoes, the cream of the crop of what this game is. So that's what I'm here to do, give justice to Stellar Blade, and really go in depth. Well, I guess not really in depth, but look at some of the side content and kind of do a vague gloss over the main story. So yeah, once more, there's going to be spoilers for Stellar Blade. Here we go. So a quick rundown of what the story is. Eve is part of this airborne support squadron unit that comes from what's known as the colony, which is in space. They get launched down, a bunch of soldiers, and pretty much their goal is to exterminate what are called Nativas, an alien kind of race. So she, starts to do that, starts hunting down the alphas to look for the Elder. All of her squadron, by the way, was wiped out at this point, and so it's literally just her. She works with some sort of human who's actually still alive on the planet, and they find another member of the airborne squad unit, a different squadron, Eve's from the 7th, this person's from the 5th, and she's a mechanic. And so they start working to clear out these Nativa. However, we learn as the story goes on that the Nativa aren't actually aliens, they're humans that have quote-unquote evolved. Pretty much there was a war a long time ago where the organic humans were losing, and so they tried to, hide away and as well focus on evolution. And so they evolved into these Nativa, alien-like creatures. That was their whole goal, but of course they kind of lost their humanity and became straight-up monsters and whatever. Eve learns this, and we also learn that in Mother Sphere, which is kind of like, not a god, but an AI overlord of the colony, was actually, behind this all along. She was created by organic humans, and then, influenced the creation of what's known as the Androidos, which is what, Eve and all the characters are. They're androids, right? Influenced the creation of them, and then became like a god to them. And, there was a whole war, and the Androidos pretty much won, but they escaped because, the Nativa broke out, all that stuff, so they escaped into space. And so eventually, you come down to 3 main decisions as the main story concludes. You can support Mother Sphere, which is the bad ending, and kill off the Elder Nativa, which is, the junker you've been helping the whole time. Turns out he's the Elder Nativa. Then you can either join him or go against him. But yeah, that's kind of one point there. You can agree to help him out, and as long as you do a lot of the main content and some of the side content, you fill Lily's affinity bar, which is the mechanic. You fill her affinity bar to max, and you have to do a side mission for her, which means that in the end, the ending is slightly different where she lives. That is considered the true and the very good ending. You then, as Mother Sphere gets to Earth, she invades, calling that you were kind of like, you definitely chose the wrong choice, and she sends a bunch of your fellow old comrades to fight you, and the game will end with you fighting them all off. And you and Adam, which is that junker, the Elder Nativa, actually form into one. And the final, I guess another bad ending, is where if you don't get Lily's affinity bar and you just speedrun through the game, which again a lot of people have done, which is why I've seen them get that ending, Lily doesn't, do her side quest, and so she ends up dying. But you still form up with Adam, and you still fight off all of Mother Sphere's, soldiers. But again, Lily ends up dying, so it's just not the good ending. They all 3 endings say that they will continue on. Sure. But again, the best ending you get is Lily survives, and you form up with Adam. That is the true and good ending. But like I said, when you break it down like that, I don't want to spoil it too much, but that is the main story. There are other things to do, though. The side content is really, really good. For example, there are some side missions where you have to help out specific characters, like a robot who lost her legs and can only sing a specific song. So that's a whole trophy line or whatever, but as you do her 3 quests, you fix her voice so that she can actually speak again as well. You then help her person out who's trying to, repair her and get her legs back. And then you eventually go and find out that she was an actress before the whole wars and all this stuff happened. She was an actual actress, which is really, really cool. That's one thing. Or you have Digger, a little robot who doesn't quite understand how he's sentient. So you help him out going around to get data, and then you build up this thing to connect to the colony, and he gets his answer, but doesn't really explain what it was. There's definitely a way he got an answer, but he doesn't explain to Eve what it was. Or you have Kaya, who's a young girl who lost her older sister. And as you do missions for her, she's definitely a little bit lost because she misses her older sister, and you find out sadly that her older sister died. Very, very sad thing. There are other miniature, smaller quests where once you play through the game a bit, you have to go back to one of the starter areas, which is this massive flooded gate. And it turns out inside this flooded gate, there was an absolute murder that happened. We're talking like 10, 11 plus people were just slaughtered. And someone covered it up by flooding this entire area. That's what I mean by all sorts of different things were hidden that people don't talk about because they didn't do the side content. There's also a lot of collectibles to get. You got all the memory sticks from dead corpses, which kind of piece together what happened to them, or what was the war between the organic humans and the Andro-Ados. You also can collect cans, which gets you a bunch of different stuff like increase in your potions, increase in your grenades, increase in ammo, and eventually a skin. Then, there's fishing in this game, which is a really, really unique thing. Once you get to the final big open world sector, you talk to this guy named Clyde. He gives you a fishing rod. You get a bunch of different fish, for eventually catching a whale shark and like a great white shark and all of these sorts of crazy things. And then when you finish out and get all 25 of the fish in the game, you talk to him again and he gives you a unique skin. That's another really interesting side content. Then, looking at back, again, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but we're going to look back at some of the main story stuff that I didn't talk on. Like I said, I just talked about the main story. But at the tutorial, your commander, Taki, she dies. But then we find out that she didn't die. She was transformed, or forced to transform, into an Alpha Naytiba, and she's one of the final bosses. And so, you have to fight her. You have to fight your comrade. It's a very, very touching moment, very, very sad moment. And when you beat her, you end up getting her unique powers, and it lives on. Or there's a very another subtle little thing as the main story continues, is that whenever you go to a fallen angel, as again, the soldiers from the colony are considered angels. That's what they're called from the people down here on Earth. But when you find a fallen angel, you get what's known as a body core or a beta core, and that increases your health or increases your beta usage energy. I don't know if I actually have footage of this, but Eve will always say, "May your memories live on forever." Whenever she helps someone and takes their core back. However, once you learn about what Mother Sphere is doing, and you learn that the real organic humans on the Naytiba, whatever, when you do go ahead and grab a beta core or a body core from a fallen angel, instead she'll say, "I don't feel like praying." Because Eve, throughout this entire story, again, it's the player's choice, but Eve as the character is having conflicting feelings whether she wants to support Mother Sphere and its, I guess, corrupt tyranny or not. So again, it's a very little subtle thing. As well, the game isn't super long. You could definitely cruise through this in maybe 10 hours or so, just playing the main story. It even shows, this is definitely a very clear game that wants to show how beautiful it is and what it wants to do. There are many times where, your companion Adam or Lily will just go ahead and say, "Eve, stop a moment, take a rest, look outside." There's a moment where you're on a train and you on a bridge, and the bridge just has a massive hole open, and Adam will say, "Stop and look outside." You see how I wish Zion, the city that is in the game, had more people and was bustling like it once was. But again, you look out and you see the beauty of it. Or towards the final mission, you and Lily are going up in this massive space elevator to take down this massive Alpha Naytiba. It's huge, but you're going up on this massive space elevator, and as you go ahead and look outside, Lily says, "Take a minute, look outside, look at Earth. It's so blue. We're used to it being gray and gross from the wasteland, but it's just so beautiful." Again, so many moments like that happen, or the game doesn't want you to rush. It wants you to take your time and enjoy how good it looks. Just as well, the combat is super, super fun. There's so many different kinds of abilities, like your beta abilities, which is like electrical things, and they're blue, and you have your burst abilities, which are red. You got a gun that has a massive railgun, or missiles, or normal buckshot and whatnot. You can dodge, you can do certain things where you can dodge and dash around someone, or just kick them back. You've got grenades, and then you've got perfect dodges, you got perfect parries, and you got, of course, regular combos with heavy attacks and light attacks. This game, like I said, I was not expecting for it to be small. And then you actually play it, and like I said, I got 50 hours in the game. Yeah, I played it multiple times, but again, I did all sorts of different things, different runs, different endings, and it is packed with so much content. To give you an idea, Spider-Man 2, a great game, No one's disputing that. 27 hours is what it took me to beat and platinum the game. This game to platinum it took me nearly, again, about 50 hours to platinum it. Again, that was a 90 something gigabyte game. This is a 35 gigabyte something game, which again, the main story might not be as long, but the side content is there and all the achievements and all that is there to really drag it out. And again, you spend your time looking at a lot of beautiful things. Stellar Blade was a really good game. And so far, between this and Helldivers, I don't know what my game of the year is going to be. I really don't, because yeah, I'm still playing Helldivers, and yeah, I'm finished this game now, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I like the story. I like the story about humans evolving into the, the aliens and the androidos or the androids or whatever, not actually knowing what happened, and, as we play, our characters learning that the Mother Sphere, this AI overlord, is actually over. And like I said, it said the story isn't over, the journey continues. Could that be DLC? Could that be a second game? Who knows, but I'm excited nonetheless. But yeah, that was my review on Stellar Blade. I hope it did the game somewhat justice, and I hope you guys did enjoy nonetheless. Maybe leave a like, maybe leave a nice comment down below, maybe hit that subscribe button, tang that little bell, and I'll see you guys next time for another game review of a future newer game. Bye, guys.